Hey guys, welcome to another ILS tutorial here on my channel. I have previously done one of these tutorial before. Anyways, the reason why I'm doing another ILS tutorial for the 777 this time around actually, not another time, but another ILS tutorial is because the 777 uses a different way to use the ILS than the default 738. So I decided to make a tutorial for this so that any inexperienced user can learn from this. And since also hopefully version 2.0 it might be coming out in the 777. I'm not sure if it is or it will even be, but if it does, then that's nice, because there will be new users who might buy the 777 and would require a tutorial on the ILS, and here is a video for anyone that is a new user. So anyways, in this ILS video I will try to teach you about the ILS frequencies, how to key in it, auto land, and the glide slope and the localizer. Basically that is about it. So let me get into the cockpit, and before that, the reason why I am in the ground is because I would like to explain some of the things on the ground, some of it in the air. I mean the rest of it in the air. So that's why I am situated in the airport on the ground. So and I am going to perform this ILS tutorial in Singapore Changi Airport. Although I can say that of course this airport does not support any auto landing, but the 777 does actually is capable of auto landing at any runway, because that's how it is designed to, apparently. So if this is real life, you cannot do an auto land in this airport. You will need a Cat 3 ILS for the approach, and if you only have a Cat 2 or Cat 1 approach, then you cannot perform any auto landing. So let me get into the cockpit and explain the things that I would like to explain. So we have here our route, which I am going to request. Nope, hold on. Let me request the route, which is, hold on. Let me re-request this whole route, and so that I can do a circuit at this airport, and everything should have been loaded in. If you would like to do auto landing, you would have to have your landing altitude set here. And if you would like to have a landing altitude set there is two ways you can do so. The first way is manual, and I'm not sure what the plane is going left and right, but whatever. The first way is with this knob here, but I find it very annoying to use that knob because you can't see the landing. Okay, you might be able to, but it is quite hard, and it is not really efficient thing to use. So the other recommendation is to put in your route, put in your origin and destination, and put in your arrival information, or your stars and your approach runway, and you click activate here, execute it, and your landing altitude should be set automatically. So the second thing I want to explain on the ground is the ILS frequency. So if you want that, okay, hold on, before I say anything, there is two ways once again to get the ILS runway frequency. The first way is to open up your map, which is by pressing the M button. So if you press the M button, you will get this, and of course I did a circuit just now to practice a little bit, and that is the circuit route that we are going to take. So just so you know, so the first way is by changing this VFR sectional to an IFR low en route, and you will see these things right here. And apparently in the comments in one of the previous videos, it has somebody has corrected me that this is called a feather. So I will just use the word as feather for this long thing right here. So if you click on one of these, you will get the runway frequency, and you can click on any of these basically for each of the direction of the runway available, and you can see the cat 1, 2 or 3 runway over there if you need to. So of course the frequency is right there displaying right into your face, so I don't really have to tell you that it's right there, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that it is right there. So other than your frequency, you also need your runway track heading, which you can find that on Google if I'm correct. Have fun googling it though, because I have no idea where to get a information that is or whatever. Just Google it yourself. Somewhere in the internet you should be able to find it. But of course I don't recommend this way because this is much slower and tedious. So the second way you can do is of course set up your arrival, your arrival star and your arrival runway with a transition and everything inside. Once you have finished that, once you have finished your route, you click your activate button, click the execute button, and it should pop up right here on your nav page over here. It should be keyed in automatically for you. It might be park here, which means that there might be a word here saying PARK, park. So if you have that, it is fine, don't worry about it. Nothing will happen, nothing bad at least. So what I'll explain what that park, the meaning of it basically is. So the park allows you to park the or put the frequency to standby. So when you actually arrive onto one of the approach to the runway, one of the waypoints, the system will automatically unpark it, and it will automatically enter the ILS frequency in here. So it will become it will be like this, which means it will be a little bit more bold. So that's how you know it if it actually works. When it is unparked, you can click the approach button and it will turn on. So yeah, and if it is still parked, you will not be able to capture your glide slope or your localizer. You will have to unpark it. By to unpark it, you will have to click on this button right here once, and that shall do. So if by any chance you want to unpark it and earlier than the expected waypoint that it will unpark, then you can do that. So I think that should be about it that I have to explain on the ground. I should probably explain the autopilot panel too. So there will be 2 buttons that you'll be using for the approach. So there is the localizer button and the approach button. The localizer button is for only the localizer. There is no glide slope, so just so you know. If I'm correct, this is usually used before you want to capture your glide slope, but I have no reason, there's no reason why not to click the approach button instead of the localizer button if you want to do that. The second reason that I think might be because is the ILS does not support glide slope, but only localizer. So some of the airports definitely have that. So it is actually still useful to even have the localizer. I think at least some of the ILS does not have the glide slope but only the localizer. I'm not sure, you might have to correct me in the comment section, but whatever. The approach button will enable both localizer and the glide slope, and that should be about it. Another explanation I can do is that the glide slope will appear, if I'm correct, to the 3rd box over here down below any green word you have here. For me it's flare, so below here they will put the glide slope, and for the localizer it should be the 2nd box. So it will turn out white at first, and if it's captured it will go into the top bar where it will turn into green. So that means it has captured it, so just so you know. And the localizer will take over any of your LNAV heading hold, and that should be about it for your localizer. So if you have localizer set to standby, do be warned that your heading track and your LNAV will be switched over to localizer. So that means the localizer will be prioritized over these 2. For your glide slope, the glide slope will prioritize over your VNAV, your vertical speed, and your heading hold. These are the three things that the glide slope will prioritize over. So once again, just be warned that this basically the stuff that will be taken over. So I guess I will prepare and I will go ahead and take off, go into the air and explain more from there before we come into our approach path. So I guess I will see you guys in
V1.
Alright, now that we are in the air, I can definitely start to explain the rest of the stuff that I need to explain for an ILS landing. So, if your frequency has been unpopped, you will see two pink diamonds. I have explained this in the 738 tutorial, but I'm going to explain it again what these pink diamonds mean. So, oh god, they just disappeared. Whatever. There is definitely a pink diamond on each side. If you did notice it just now. So, if the pink diamond is at the center over here, let's just talk about the bottom one first. If that pink diamond is over here, you are good to go. Now that pink diamond represents the localizer for the bottom one here, so just keep that in mind. And if the pink diamond is to the left of you, the big pink diamond, not the small pink diamond, the big one, if it's to the left, that means you, the aircraft, is to the right of the localizer. If you can't process it, maybe you can repeat the video again, but I'm going to continue. So if the pink diamond is to the right of the center, then you are to the left of the localizer. Okay, and if you are to the left or the right of the localizer, just fly a heading towards the if the pink diamond is to the right of you, you fly a heading of towards the left of the runway so that you can intercept the localizer, and vice versa, of course. So now that the localizer has been explained, I'll explain the glide slope, which is the second pink diamond over here. Now the concept is the same as the localizer, except that this is now the opposite direction, whereby it is the vertical direction instead of the horizontal direction. So if the pink diamond is above you, that means you are below the glide slope, sorry. And if the pink diamond is below the center here, or the horizon, artificial horizon, then you are above the glide slope. To help you with how to get into the glide slope more than the localizer, I will explain some ways that you can intercept the localizer easier. So, if you are below the glide slope, you should just maintain your altitude and hold your altitude from there until you intercept the glide slope, at which you continue your descent from there. And also it is also recommended to reduce your speed while you are holding the altitude and waiting for the glide slope, because it will be easier to do so than when you are descending. Now if you're above the glide slope, you should descend faster than your rate of descent for the glide slope. Normally it is negative 800 feet per minute, so my recommendation is negative 1100 feet or above. and speed brakes are recommended if it is possible. I mean, if you need it also, then yeah, of course speed brake is a nice thing to have with you if you need to descend fast. And if you are really too high, then go around, because that is your final choice, and do just go around if you can't make the glide slope. And as you can see, there is a DME thingy here. Let me just zoom in on this thing. There is a DME sign here. What this basically means is how many miles you are out from the airport that you're arriving at. Normally this only shows when your frequency is unparked, so that is something else. And it shows in nautical miles if I am correct. So we are currently 9.5 or 9.7 nautical miles out from the airport that we just took off from, or the airport we are going to land. Now it is 10. I think it goes out of range after 25 if I'm correct. I'm not exactly sure the numbers, but yeah. So I think that is about it for explanation. Now let's do the execution, or nearly the execution. Okay, guess we can start to descend, not descend, reduce our speed so that we can prepare for landing. Alright, so let's set my auto brakes to 1. Should be enough for this airport. And if I'm correct, that should be everything that I should have to explain. So yeah, if I missed anything, then I'm sorry. Maybe I'll add in with text somewhere in the video. Not sure, but yeah. And there might or might not be subtitles for this video, just like the 738. Like I said, everything I'm not sure until I am editing. So yeah. Flaps 1. And let's set my speed to 190 knots. And when you're auto landing, do make sure that you are you are paying attention to the aircraft moving, because when it is flaring, it normally flares around at 40 feet if I'm it normally flares about 40 feet, so that is something for you to take note. And it normally puts the engines to idle at around 20 or 10 feet. So flaps 5 in the meantime. So if it's too, I guess, still too fast of a descent rate for you when the engines are only idle at 20 feet, I recommend you to increase your flare. So yeah. And for this time round, I am not going to increase the flare. I am just gonna let it do its thing, let it land by itself, and I'll because I would like to show you how it works. So don't expect a good landing rate if you are doing an auto land. Do expect around negative 400 feet per minute or even higher, actually, to be honest. So yeah. Alright, let's set our landing speed to 100. No, landing speed. Our speed to 180 knots. Now, when we are intercepting the localizer, we can press the localizer approach button. In our case, let's just click the localizer button, and localizer has been captured because we are already turning in to the localizer path with our LNAV path. So now that localizer has been captured, LNAV has been turned off. So that is something for you to watch out. Flaps 15 in the meantime. And as you can see, the second pink diamond is approaching, so we can click the approach button. A glide slope has been put on standby, and yeah. And glide slope has been captured. As you can see, it goes up to the first bar, and our hold altitude has been overridden by the glide slope. So now we are fully on the ILS, and we can prepare our landing. So let's reduce our speed to 170 knots. Let me check my landing speed. Our gross weight, let us delete you. It is 209, around there. Our landing speed will be 142, as I have keyed in here. So yeah. Alright, let's just set 142 feet. No, 142 knots now. put the gears down. Normally you will put your gear down when you are on finals, which finals meaning that you are established on both localizer and glide slope. So that is something else for you to know. And if you need, of course, you can, I mean, you won't need it in VSync and stuff like that. So yeah, that's something good to know for you. Anyways, flaps 20. And this is the outside view. And if anybody is wondering about the sounds of the aircraft, like the engine sounds and stuff, I will also link a description on the sounds, which is custom made by me. And yeah. If you have any other questions about this aircraft that is different from the default one, do ask me if you want to. If I mean, of course, if you want to, like I said. If not, then whatever. I think, to be honest, we can just go to the wing view for the landing, but I think it might be better for me to watch the landing. Or maybe I can just put the landing replay and show you how the autopilot lands it, I guess. So I guess that's what I will be doing. So I do expect that. And also the normal minimums for auto landing is around, on average, 50 feet or so. So that's why I have set the radio to 50 feet. Or the radio minimums. And when you are landing, when you are about to land, or when your main wheels touch the ground, disable your auto throttle right away, engage reversers and nose down and put in your reversers, disable your autopilot, and the plane is yours from there, whereby you can start your manual braking and stuff. So yeah.
300. 200. 100. Approaching minimums.
And the flare has been engaged. Rollout will be engaged soon.
40,
minimums continue.
30. 20.
And engines
10.
are, I don't know. Auto throttle off, reverses in, full reverses, and autopilot goes off. Plane is mine. And reverses can be stowed. Manual braking, auto brakes can go off. And that is it for landing. Spoilers down, flaps go up. Can exit to the left. So that is an auto land for you. Definitely I can say that it is not centered to the runway for that auto land, probably because of the wind. Either that or that the ILS is not centered, so whatever. Anyways, I can end the video right here, and yeah. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you have found it useful for those who are using the 777 at least. And also another thing, that this tutorial might not work for the other 777 series other than the 300ER. I'm not sure because I have not used the other aircrafts at all before, so this is just a precaution for you. So it might though, so yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you have found this useful. And yeah, I will see you guys in another video. Take care and goodbye.
100. Approaching minimums. 50. Minimums. 40. 30. 20. 10.